What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Palm City Chucks. It's been a minute. It's good to be back. We had the holidays. I had a little surgery, um, but we're good. We're back, and we're ready to talk some football. So we had a lot of college playoffs go down, a lot of bowl games, a lot of good action there. Um, so let's recap kind of what went down in the college football playoff. So round one, we had Texas versus Clemson, where Texas came out on top in a good close game. Not something we really expected. I remember we were kind of saying Clemson, got in, but were very fortunate to get in, and they didn't really belong. But they fought pretty hard, so maybe they did. But regardless, they are booted. See ya. We also had Tennessee, Ohio State, where we both predicted Ohio State winning, and that is what happened. Now, they won in a major way, which
Big time.
didn't, I mean, it kind of surprised me how easy they won that game. Like,
It did
I mean,
surprise
that
me.
that was supposed to be like the best round one matchup. And I think we
Yeah.
both agreed on that before you go Big
At the
Ten
time.
crazy on me.
At the time. At the time. Yeah, at the time. And then that game started, and it was over. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure at the same time I also said I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up like this because Ohio State was just pissed off from their loss
Right.
against
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah, I
I
know we
feel like
both
I
felt
remember
they were
saying
going to
that.
win
Yeah.
because of that, too. And yeah, that they did, but yeah, they've really freaking won. And moving on, we had Penn State SMU, where Penn State won that one. That was a freaking cakewalk. I
Oh,
mean, that
absolutely.
defense, dude, that SMU quarterback, like, forgot how to play football. Like, some
Oh
of
yeah,
his
it was
throws were
terrible.
literally like JV middle school, like,
Those
first rep at a
receptions,
quarterback.
it's terrible. It was terrible. I mean, the
It was
score
just
was 31-10.
the way they were though. Like some of the
Oh
picks were
yeah, it was
literally
bad.
like yeah, it was mind blowing. I don't know how they made it as far as they did. But yeah, so Penn State won that one. That was not a good game, but it was a good game because we wanted Penn State to pull that one
I
off.
did want Penn State to win, and that could have been a lot worse. And I'm not going to let you get away with just moving on. Just want to real quickly
Oh,
SEC
come
versus Big Ten,
on.
really quick. Ohio State over Tennessee. That's one. We'll just count. All right. We'll
Yeah,
just
we
keep count.
we can count, just not too high. I get confused. So we also had Notre Dame, Indiana. Notre Dame won that one. Bummer. Um, Against the Big Ten team, if that matters. But
Yeah. The non-conference Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
yes, yes. But yeah, that was round one. Then we had teams with the buys getting in on the action this past weekend, and that let's start with your boyos, Penn State, Boise State.
Oh yeah, Penn
What do you
State,
think of
Boise
that? What do you
State.
think of that game?
I mean, kind of a mixed bag for me, honestly. Penn State came out firing. It looked like it was going to be an absolute shellacking, similar to the SMU game, where
Mm-hmm.
eventually Boise State just scores a little bit because Penn State took their foot off the pedal a little bit. It didn't turn out that way for a while. I mean, it was 3-0, then it was 10-0, and then it was 10-7, something 10-7 I think, and then it was 17-7 at half, and then all of a sudden it was 17-14 because there was just a 10-15 minute period, the end of the first quarter, the beginning of the second quarter, rest of the second half, that was not great. And then, of course, the first drive coming out of the half, just getting beat for a 53-yard touchdown. That
Yeah.
sucked. Make it 17-14. But then from that point on, I mean, they didn't allow any more points. Ended 31-14. Offense did what it needed to do to secure the win. Defense locked up. I mean, for the entire game, they bottled up Jonty. He had his worst game of the season, so that was
Yeah.
awesome. That put some faith back in the defense for me because, as you know, I mean, two really good games now. They have 6 interceptions through the first two games of the playoff, three each. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My faith in the defense was a little I thought they could come back, but I'm glad to see it these past 2 games against arguably weaker competition for sure. But
Yeah.
seeing what Oregon did to our defense in these last 2 games, it's a nice little, oh hey, they can still do the
Oh
thing,
yeah.
you know.
And confidence
So,
does wonders
oh,
for a team
absolutely.
too. So yeah, like you said, forcing that many turnovers back to back games, lesser opponents, sure, but that's still that's going to ramp the boys up, and yeah, hopefully they're ready to keep it rocking. I did
Yeah,
want to say they they did an amazing job with Jonty, and Boise State just like it took them forever to realize there's freaking 8 guys in the box every play, dude. like like it literally took them forever, and every single play that they had success on, it was a pass because it was just so worried about the run game, and it was a wonder to me why they didn't pick up on that sooner, and stay in the game better by completing the ball downfield. But then, like you said, it ended up being a turnover fiasco when they were throwing the ball around a lot. So I think that's kind of what they were afraid of. Like, hey, we got here with Jonty. That is our formula. Like, that's all we got, kind of thing. But yeah, that was a wonder
yeah,
to me that they kept trying it. Like, throw it to him, throw it to your receivers, whatever. Like, you can't run when the box is that freaking packed with a Big Ten opponent with much better, bigger, faster, stronger players. Like it's just I'm shocked Boise didn't run into that with Oregon their first time around, like where Jonty had a lot of success against a Big Ten team. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed pretty simple. Like it was like, why is everybody struggling with this guy? And he showed you why too, because he is
yep.
amazing. Like he had a few runs where it was like, how the hell did he?
No,
like
he broke
what?
so many tackles. There were quite a few that should have been -1, 0, 1 yard gains, and he broke like 6 tackles to get
Oh
six
yeah.
yards, which doesn't seem
Yep.
crazy, but that you actually watch the play and it's like, dude,
Oh, they're
this man
mind-boggling.
would not go down.
Yeah, he's amazing.
It's
And I
ridiculous.
yeah, I don't him losing the ball, 2 fumbles and all that, like that sucked to see. But other than that, like I mean, he's everything we knew he was still. Like I don't take anything
Yep.
away from him even though it was his worst game. It was just a good game plan Penn State had. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was
I mean,
that one.
it's exactly what they were looking for. If they beat us with the passing the ball 80, 90% of the time like they would have had to,
Yeah.
you know what? So be it. So
Yep.
be it. But we
Yeah, it
weren't
was just
gonna let
smart.
Jonty beat us. Yeah,
Right.
that's
It
how
was
it had to
the
happen.
right. Yeah, but it was good to see. Penn State has their coaching
Yeah,
errors and stuff like that going on. So
yeah.
it was good to
And
see they
speaking
had the
of,
correct plan and got it done.
yeah, speaking of, I'd be remiss if I didn't give some credit to Mr. James Franklin.
Yeah,
He did the job so far. He took the easier games, and he got through. We
yeah,
are in the semifinals, so props to him to this point.
yeah,
He's got to keep going. Got to keep going.
definitely.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see
it's
what
not a
happens.
shock. It's not a shock at all that they made it this far. But
Yeah.
as we know with his past and just Penn State's history, there's games where you stumble and you have a hiccup when you really shouldn't. So
Yep.
I think that was definitely in their minds, and they made sure to show up and put forth their best effort. And yeah, they got the job done.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Let's move on and talk about the game that decided their opponent, the Notre Dame Georgia game that took place um, yesterday at this point. Yeah,
Yeah,
yesterday now. We're filming this on Friday. It's Thursday, which call out to all the unfortunate events down in New
right.
Orleans. Prayers up for everyone affected by that down there. This game got delayed up definitely appropriately for that, and hope everyone who's still recovering and affected by this, just prayers up for you all. But let's talk about the game. Notre Dame controlled that game from pretty much start to finish. Georgia
Yeah.
never really had a chance,
No.
honestly. The backup quarterback couldn't get it done. Notre Dame also shut down the run game, had fumbling problems. I mean, just every phase of the game, Notre Dame looked better. I mean, they even returned to the second half kickoff for a
Yeah.
touchdown, 98 yards. So
Yeah.
literally all 3 phases of the game, Notre Dame won. Marcus Freeman was rightfully quite excited on the sideline.
Yeah.
Um, So that's what happened there. Notre Dame. I mean, I don't think I expected that. I'll say
No,
that.
yeah,
Especially not that dominant of a win. Like I said, it just Georgia never looked like they had a chance.
yep, yeah, and it was a shame too because I mean you said it and I agree. Notre Dame won that game all three phases, but it really went wrong end of the first half. They go for it, don't get it, and then Notre Dame has this short field. They get a touchdown, literally seconds left in the half, and then you said it, the opening kickoff, they run it back. It was a 6-3 game at half. It was going to be that. Georgia left the door open, ended up being 13-3, and then second half kickoff, and next thing you know, you're in panic mode with your backup quarterback against a really good team. And I mean that showed because Georgia. I mean they were constantly trying to make up for those points, and yeah, they were pushing their luck, going for it on fourth a lot, just trying to make plays downfield with their backup, and yeah, it just never got going for them. And yeah, credit to Notre Dame because even without that like kick return going their way and stuff like that, like it was still like they just dominated this game. Even though the score would have been much closer had that kick return not happened. But yeah, it was surprising to me. It's just so weird for me to see Georgia like this.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
bizarre.
weird.
It's
It's
really
it's
weird,
almost
man.
crazy. NIL comes into play. All the other programs can now legally start giving money to their players, and
Yeah,
the SEC's struggling. It's almost like the playing field got even. Like something was maybe going on in that conference,
yeah,
and
like
now
they were
we're
getting
seeing it.
paid.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of crazy the timing there. Um, but yeah, not enough on that. I mean, Georgia was just disappointing. I'm sure Kirby Smart's disappointed.
Yeah,
Um, I picked Georgia to win this game. I thought even with the backup they were going to make it through, and they did not. Notre Dame dominated, and Penn State Notre Dame in the next round. We'll come back to that, but that's going to be exciting. So
yeah,
let's talk about the two games on the other side that decided the other two semifinalists, and we'll start with Texas Arizona State. My goodness, what a freaking game!
yeah. That
Holy
was fun.
cow, this one was exciting. I mean, Texas was dominating. They really were. The first three quarters, they were. Went into the fourth with a 24-8 lead. What do? Arizona State comes back and ties it up. Texas
Yeah,
lets them come back and tie it up 24-24. Go to overtime. Arizona State gets the ball first. They score, kick the extra point up 7. Texas has to go all the way to 4th and 13
yeah.
and they score a touchdown on that 4th and 13 and then go on to win the game in the next overtime. But my goodness, Texas was close to a major
Oh yes.
disappointment and upset here. And even though Arizona State lost this game, I would be remiss if I didn't give credit to Mr. Cam Scatabo.
Yeah,
That guy balled
he can do
out.
it all.
MVP. I think it's like first time in. I
Yeah,
how
I
long
saw
I
that.
said first time in forever that
Yeah.
somebody on the losing team in that bowl game won MVP,
Yeah.
and I mean he deserved it.
It was
Honestly, he
over
really did.
20 years. I forget what it was,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad he got it because I mean he does deserve that award. He
absolutely.
he was pretty much all they had going for them, and he single-handedly had them in it with an amazing chance to win. It was crazy. I mean, to give up a 4th and 13, and that route was pretty freaking solid, and
Yeah,
it was really just on that safety there. And I
100%.
mean, we see that football is chess. We know this, but you call out that one guy on the defense, and if he doesn't make a play, like you're screwed. I mean, it happens all the time, but yeah, you feel bad for that kid. It's literally, oh, dude, he wants that play back. But yeah, that would have
Yeah,
been a lot of fun if that upset went through. But I mean, I'm kind of
100%.
glad it didn't at the same time because I feel like they would be no match in the next round.
Probably not. I mean, I'm not sure that Texas is either to be honest with the way they've been looking these first two games.
That's
Let's be
true.
real. But Arizona State, I think, definitely would have struggled with who they'll play next, which is a great segue into that game. Ohio State, Oregon. Really, I Ohio State came ready for
Yeah.
revenge.
It was not
They
like part one at
wanted to
all.
play. I mean, they jumped out to a 34 to nothing lead. That that Michigan loss has absolutely lit a fire
Yeah.
under that Ohio State team's ass, and it kills me to see because they, I think, undisputably look like the best team left out of the four so
Oh,
far.
without a doubt. I mean, you
Like
go off
they
the
look,
playoff games alone, how could you dispute that?
yeah,
And the teams they beat, I mean, they beat Tennessee and
yeah,
Oregon. That's no joke.
yeah,
And how they beat both of them? Are you kidding
yeah.
me? It's like they're an NFL team
Tennessee and
playing in
Oregon like
college.
never
Like,
had a
what the heck?
chance.
They should
Nope.
not
Uh,
beat teams that good that easily. Like, it was madness.
Very disappointing. Really wanted Oregon to win that game. I picked
Yeah.
Ohio State, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I did go Oregon. I couldn't tell you. If I did, probably the bias there, but Ohio State looks ridiculous. I hate to see it. I want them to lose so bad.
Yeah.
At the same
And you know what
time, and
else
I've
sucks,
brought
dude?
this.
Freaking, that was the Rose Bowl. I freaking
Yeah.
love the Rose Bowl. And now it's
Rose
tainted.
Bowl
We had two
has
teams from
definitely
the same
lost its.
conference in it, and it wasn't even close. I'm
The
upset.
Rose Bowl is definitely been weakened since the college football playoff started. Even just the four-team format, because it was semifinal games sometimes. And for me, I kind of felt like, yeah, these don't really matter. It's really about getting to the chip when it's a bracket style, no matter what you call the semifinal games. So I
Yeah,
think it's been a
that's
while
a fair
since we had.
point. It kind of takes
Yeah.
away from the, the magic
Yes.
or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, because once you got to the quarterfinals, they're calling these now major bowl wins, right? Like, because these are Sugar Bowl and the major bowls, the New
Yeah.
York Six per se.
Right.
Had these four, and the last two are the semifinals, and it just doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like you go out and win a major bowl game if you don't end up going and winning the Natty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
you,
that's
you're going.
interesting.
Yeah, it's cool you brought it up because I mean it really is. Like teams were going out on top, chewing on the rose, like just
Yeah.
fucking living it up, and now then the next week they could lose and then be in tears. It's like it's just not what it used to be. It's not what it's supposed to be. They need to just call these playoff games whatever. I mean, they're gonna get a sponsor. They gotta milk the cow. Give me the cash cow. But yeah, it shouldn't be these famous bowl games that we've come to know and love because you're right, it's definitely taken something away from it.
Yep, totally agree. But let's preview these two games. Pick who we think's gonna win each one, and then talk about it. Um, Texas OSU. Let's start there. I want to save Penn State for last. I mean, I kind of alluded to it already. Ohio State, I got in this one. I mean,
Yeah.
they just look so dominant. Texas has struggled against both Clemson and Arizona State. Almost knocked out both games, and Ohio State has been the exact opposite against much tougher competition. It really doesn't look like Texas is going to have much of a chance in this one. So kick out the last SEC team, put another check in the box for Big Ten, and
This
call it a day.
guy.
Got Ohio State going to the Natty. Unfortunately, it pains me to say. I
Yeah.
want Texas to win, by the way. So,
Oh yeah, I think we've gathered that.
yeah.
Despite it would be an SEC team winning, you definitely can't have your rival going to the chip. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, how do you go against Ohio State right now? They've dominated really good teams as of late, and I mean, you said it. Texas hasn't looked great. We talked about it many weeks ago. Had a soft schedule considering they're in the SEC. Lost both games to Georgia, like their only good opponent, pretty much. And yeah, they're just not that
The
impressive.
cracks
Like,
are showing. The cracks
Yeah.
are showing.
yep, exactly. So yeah, I have Ohio State, which sucks. Yeah, I don't want them in the chip. I don't want another SEC team down. But that's it's right there. I mean, people, this isn't a surprising pick. Ohio State
Yeah.
is looking like the best team. They should go the whole way, the way they're playing. You just got to hope they used all their, juju up. But we'll see.
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll zoom in. I'm gonna pick Penn State. Obviously, I'll explain why I feel like I actually have pretty solid reasoning as well. That's not just biased. I went there and I love them. But if Penn State does win that game, and it's an Ohio State-Penn State championship, I've mentioned this before. First off, I love that as a Penn State guy, Penn State, Ohio State in the championship, regardless of how Ohio State is playing, because we've talked about this in a lot of our sports conversations. When it is a rivalry game, everything just goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So even if Penn State ends up losing, I really expect like a close game if that's the title game that we get, just because that's how those two.
I hope so, man.
Yeah,
gotta have a close title.
You'd hope
but,
so, but I mean,
you talked about it a
Michigan,
few.
Washington,
Yeah,
close, so.
That's true. But you talked about it a few episodes ago. Like, and if this matchup were to happen, if Penn State wins this, like every other law, like it literally doesn't matter. Like the chance at literally just wiping out the history,
yes,
it would be so cool.
I was talking with a coworker earlier who went to Ohio State, and I said that to him. I was like, I will admit to you, you have owned us in the regular season for the past 20, 25 years, whatever number you want to put on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if this matchup happens, and it's Ohio State versus Penn State for a natty, and Penn State goes and wins a natty against Ohio State, we win. We're on top. Like that.
Yeah.
The regular season shit no longer matters. We just beat you in a natty. We flipped the script.
Yep. And guess what else? Franklin gets a fucking statue outside of the stadium.
You know what? God damn it, Franklin! If you go win a natty, you can have a statue. You can have whatever you want, man. Like, I will get on my knees and tell you how sorry I am for speaking illy of you. Whatever you want, my guy. I mean,
shine his shoes, on. Man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, so anyways, let's get to the reasons why I think Penn State is going to beat Notre Dame, right? For one, Penn State beat all the teams this year that they should have, right? Their loss came to Ohio State and then Oregon in a Big Ten championship game. Notre Dame did not beat all the teams they should have beaten this year. Northern Illinois. Shows cracks, that's one thing. Second thing is I think they are two extremely similar teams, or Penn State just has the leg up in most areas. They're both offenses that rely heavily on a running back tandem.
Yeah.
Right? They use two running backs that run the ball a lot. The quarterback is good, but not really the focal point of the
He's
offense,
not impressive. Right? I mean, he was under 100 passing yards against Georgia.
No, yeah, and I'm speaking of both teams here, and that's where I'm getting, right? So, like, teams on offense that rely heavily on the run game, not a ton of passing, but I'd give the running back, you got to give it to Katron and Singleton right now. Like, all due respect to Love, and I'm blanking on the second running back in Notre Dame right now, but I got to give it to Katron and Singleton. They're both over 1,000 yards. One of two teams to have guys over. Actually, it might be the only team with two 1,000. Because when I was watching the Ohio State, I thought this was funny. The Ohio State-Oregon game, they brought up a stat that was like Judkins and Travion Henderson were one of two. They were one of two teams to have two runners with over, I think, 600 or 800 or something like that yards. And during the Penn State game, they showed how Penn State was the only team with the two 1,000-yard rushers. I'm like,
nice.
Or a nice qualifier there to make sure you could add just another.
That's great.
Ohio State in there. So
that's
thought
great.
That was funny. But I give the running backs of Penn State. I'm taking Drew Aller over Riley Leonard.
Yes.
Personally, quarterback wise, receivers. Honestly, can't say I know a ton about Notre Dame's receivers, but I know enough about Penn State to not be super confident in them. So I'm just going to say that's Notre Dame, and obviously Penn State.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren Mackey Award winner. Then you go to the defensive side, a bit of a worry with Abdul Carter getting hurt in that Boise State game, but what we're seeing on social media I think kind of suggests to me that he's looking like he's going to play in that game, so that'll be really good. He definitely would be a big miss. But I'm going to take Penn State's defense slightly over Notre Dame's as well. So I really think Penn State actually is the better team as well, talent-wise.
Yeah.
So I think, don't get me wrong, Notre Dame could totally win this game. They've got enough talent, and it's close. But I think Penn State can pull this one out and make the net. I really do.
Yeah.
James worries me. James worries me.
The future statue man, worrying you. Nah, yeah, I agree. I think Penn State is the better team, and I think they should get it done. I mean, I truly believe they're better, and you said it. Notre Dame has stumbled to teams that they shouldn't have, and Penn State for once hasn't. They didn't have any hiccups this year, so yeah, and they're the hot team coming in. They beat up on some lesser opponents, whatever you want to say, but like I said earlier, that's confidence building like stuff. They're hot and they feel like they have it, and sometimes that's half the battle. And Notre Dame's definitely feeling good too, taking out Georgia. I mean, even with the backup, I mean that's still an impressive win. But that's the other thing too. To get here can be taxing. Like Notre
Yeah.
Dame going through Georgia, that can be you could be really banged up or whatever, exhausted, whatever you want to say. And Penn State really didn't have to go full throttle against either opponent.
Yeah, and,
So,
and you got to think about this. Got to think about this. Penn State played a day earlier than what was supposed to be all the other games. So that's
right.
already an additional day of rest.
Yep.
Then this game gets pushed back a day more. That's
Yep.
2 additional days of rest, and I think that could genuinely matter, especially for college kids.
That's true.
They haven't quite learned how to just always fight through, being tired and all that stuff. So
That's
extra days
true.
of
And
rest,
and that's another fair point to this new format too. Like teams do not play this amount of games. Like this is a first. Teams have never
yeah,
played this many games. So that's a great point. Rest is going to play a role. Who you played to get here and how hard you had to go plays a role. And all of that is pointing towards Penn State. And then when you get down to the nitty gritty of which team's better, we both feel Penn State's better. And like you said, I mean, Notre Dame has a lot of talent and it is close. But given all those other factors in Penn State's favor, you got to think they pull through.
yeah, I totally agree. And so I kind of want to ask, and this is going to kind of aid my Big Ten SEC, but we'll frame it as something else. Do you think, after we've gotten through the first round, the quarterfinals, what do you think of the college football playoff format? Do you think it worked out the way they tried to do it this year?
No. I don't. So I've flip flopped back and forth numerous times on like just the seeding and how it worked out. And I agree with their decisions to, value making your title game. So like all my Clemson slander and all that stuff and SMU slander and all that can kind of go away. I mean, Clemson won it, so obviously they should be in. But SMU, I am cool with them being in over Bama or South Carolina or whatever other team was right at the edge there. So I made my peace with that. I think that was done correctly. I don't like them forcing the buys onto like Boise State, Arizona State in this case. And part of the reason why is I feel like those teams definitely should be in because they won their bowl game, but also they shouldn't be guaranteed a bye because you just took away a chance for them to play at home in front of their home crowd in a playoff game. And I feel like that would be really cool. And it's just a better way to actually put the best 4 teams in the country in the deserving bye week spots. So I think it kind of is a twofer that way. But I see why they did it this way, and it's fair if anybody feels different about it. But yeah, that's kind of where I ended up falling with it. Like those teams definitely should have been in. I'm fine with the 12 that made it, but the seeding at which they received, I don't agree with.
No, I think of it the exact same way. I think the way that they picked the teams, totally fine. All you got to do is go look at what Alabama and South Carolina did in their bowl games to be like, yeah, they certainly were no shoo-in for these playoffs
That's
here.
true.
Alabama
That's true.
v. Michigan, Big Ten win. South Carolina v. Illinois, Big Ten win.
Why did I name
Keep
drop
chalking
them?
up. Yep. Oh, I know you did, but listen, another check in the box for the Big Ten. I think this is the year. I mean, definitely this year, Big Ten greater than SEC, but this might be the year the tide permanently turns. That's all I'm saying. Just be prepared for that. Big Ten
Yeah,
is
I'll buckle
taking
in.
over.
No,
Yeah, you
I'm
should.
a 1 year
You say you're
thing
not
is.
worried, but you have to be. You have to be.
No, I'm not worried.
We've
I'm
been making
seriously not worried.
consistent progress.
No,
And this,
it's not really consistent. This is the only year, and you got new
we
teams that
talked
have
about earlier. We talked
ramped
about
up
earlier
your
how the Big Ten was
conference
getting
big time.
closer. Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of it. So did you,
Yeah,
or so you thought. I mean, Texas is the only one still standing. So
yeah. Well, and they actually had, which I said earlier, they had a weak schedule considering they're in the
exactly.
SEC. But yeah, I'm not worried about that. It's a 1 year thing. SEC will be back. It's gonna be fine. I'm not hitting the panic button.
What conference was the national championship winner in last year? Yeah.
That doesn't matter, bro. I mean,
Oh my
obviously it
god.
matters, but you know what I
Who
mean.
who did
SEC.
who did Michigan beat to get to that championship game?
I know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just countering your points here, dude. Like,
Yeah, but it's not. It's a small sample, dude. It's very
uh,
small. It was literally Ohio State and then the occasional Michigan every 10 years and nobody else for the last like 40 years.
I'm telling you, tide's turning, baby. Watch out. Watch out.
We'll see what happens, but I love it and I'm all for it. Like I want
Yeah.
every conference to be juiced out of their mind, you know what I mean?
Oh
But
yeah. I mean, that would
yeah,
be
it's
ideal. There's just not enough talent to go around for that, though, either.
right.
There's so many college programs.
Yeah.
So many.
But yeah, it's definitely Big 10 this year. Like I have no leg to stand on.
None.
Yeah,
But
it's
I'm telling you, I think this might be a more permanent thing.
but
We'll
the
see.
the only argument I will say, which you know, take what you want from it because you may think it's a cop out or something along those lines, but the SEC is beating up on itself all year long. And like I was just saying with you, like wear and tear and whatnot may play a role. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. Because if you actually, even with all the bowl matchups that have happened where the Big Ten came out on top, like, are you actually certain if you include every single team from the Big Ten and every single team from the SEC that the Big Ten was better this year? Because even still, I don't know about that. Like, you guys have some weak links, and our freaking Vanderbilt was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
I think so, because I think our top is just so much better right now, so that it makes up for those weak links. 'Cause I'll agree, our weakest team is definitely still plenty weaker than yours, at least
right.
definitely this year. Vanderbilt typically is bottom shelf, but they were better
Yeah,
this year.
Vanderbilt's,
Um,
usually probably worse than your worst Big Ten team every year. But yeah, this
yeah.
year that was kind of a fluke, much like the Big Ten being better this year. It's very
We'll
fluky.
revisit this in 12 months, okay?
I look forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things you're looking forward to that I'm going to be cashing in on pretty soon.
What? This guy.
I'm just saying, bro. Uh, when the Lions win this week and take the 1 seed, and then my prediction of them taking the 1 is correct, and
Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's a lot of things to cash in on soon.
that's true.
But
This
that
guy
is a
had
good segue.
Dallas winning the NFC East. Unreal.
Everything else was pretty damn alright.
Hey, I like the Raiders all right, remember?
Oh, I know.
Although
I remember.
I didn't have them as a playoff team or anything crazy, but I thought they were like a 6-7 win team, which slice that in
They're
half.
not.
But
Yeah,
that's because
but that's
Minshew Mania's been hurt, man. He's a dog.
I don't know about that. He was pretty questionable even when on
Dude,
the
he got
field and held.
I think he got yanked out of every game but like two at some
Yeah,
point.
it's not good. At
Yeah.
that point, just
It's
start
terrible.
over. But yeah, let's talk NFL. Let's talk NFL now that we're here. I mean, we got Week 18 coming up. Super exciting. Last week of the regular season. Final playoff spots decided. Final
Yes.
seeding decided. I mean, just so much to talk about. so many possible scenarios.
And more important
Teams
than
rest
all of
players.
that, who's winning our bet? who's coming out on top? Game
Yeah.
picks.
I'm feeling pretty good, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'm hoping to force this man into some crazy calls at the end of this show tonight, just so he has a chance. But does he want to do that to himself? He might end up falling behind all of the ESPN analysts.
Oh, that's
Does he
fine
really
with me,
wanna have
dude.
0?
That's fine. All or nothing, man. I told you I'm gonna when we get to game picks, because we are jumping the gun a bit. We want to talk playoff situations, but when we get to game picks, I'm gonna announce my picks with what I believe will happen. And if we don't have enough different, I'm gonna make them different because I'm going for the cheddar, baby.
It's understandable. You got to give it a shot. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about what's the AFC looking like right now. What's determined? What's not? What's up for grabs? Who are the teams that can go and grab it? Number one, we know it. The Chiefs.
Ew.
Locked in.
Ugh.
Resting their starters.
Ugh.
You know. They just win, man. They just win. 2, also locked in, Buffalo Bills. Kind of interesting. Josh Allen does seem like he's going to start the game. Mitch Trubisky's going to finish it. Don't know how much Josh Allen is going to play. Interesting decisions there.
Yes.
The 3 seed. We got Pittsburgh or we got the Ravens. So only 2 teams can possibly take that there, and it's going to be the winner of the AFC North. And locked in at the 4 AFC South winner, Houston. I don't know what they're going to do with their players. Haven't seen any rumors about them sitting anybody.
Yeah,
I don't know why they would.
I heard
guys.
D'Amico was going to play him. But yeah, who knows? I feel like they might just be saying that, because why? I mean, they have looked rusty, but what difference is it going to make them playing a half of this game or whatever? Like, just be healthy, get rest, and then, see what happens wild card weekend.
Yeah, give them a second bye week, man. All the players are always asking for it, so give it to them.
Right.
Giving yourself that opportunity.
Exactly.
Does not matter.
If you're that's how I feel about it too, for the record. If you're in a position to do it, why wouldn't you freaking do it?
Yep.
Get your rest.
Yep. And then where it gets interesting, the wild card spots.
Yes.
5 could be Pittsburgh, could be the Chargers, could be the Ravens. 6, Chargers or Steelers. And then the most interesting seed remaining in the NFL, in my opinion, the 7th seed of the AFC. The Broncos in control right now. If they go and win, they will be the 7th seed, no questions asked. If they lose, that leaves life for both the Dolphins and the Bengals. The Dolphins win, Bengals are toast, doesn't matter what they do. Dolphins lose, and the Bengals go and win. Joe Burrow has dug them out from the depths and taken them to the playoffs, and I'll be damned, that is nothing short of a miracle. And one thing I do want to discuss is that a few weeks ago, I think at least I jumped the gun a bit, maybe you as well. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Saying they're out? Because I jumped that gun, brother.
Well, that,
I thought they were cooked.
I also thought they were cooked, but that's not where I was going. But pretty sure I denounced Josh Allen as the should-be MVP winner. And honestly, I'm getting behind the Joe Burrow train, to be honest.
Yeah?
Seriously.
Even if they don't get in?
Here's my thoughts on that. If they don't get in, would I still give it to him? Yeah, probably. I think he was the best player in the league this year, if you really look at it. Will he actually get it? No. And you know what? Fair enough. I mean, it's tough to give it to a guy who doesn't get in the playoffs. There are 14 teams that do, almost half the league, and not to be on one of those and hope to win MVP, it's just not likely, and I understand it. Sucks, but I get it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think he's out. I think he's just not going to get it. Even if they get in, I don't think they'll give it to him. I feel like it's got to go to Josh Allen. I feel like people are getting too caught up in the stats And that's not what the award is. It is most valuable player. If the Bills did not have Josh Allen, they would literally be like a 4-win team. If the Ravens
The
didn't have
Bengals would be
Lamar,
worse.
they would be a 8-win team. And yeah, the Bengals probably would be worse. But all that being said, you have to factor in the team's success too. Like we've never seen this award go to a non-playoff team, and I talking out my ass, but I'm sure we haven't seen it go to a 7 seed. I mean, actually, definitely not because 7 seed's so new.
Yeah.
There's no way that's happened. But even a 6 seed, like a 5 seed, like hell, I don't think it works that way. Like it
No,
pretty
yeah, like I
much is
said,
always the team with the best record, period, usually gets it.
I'm not saying I think he's going to get it. I'm saying I'm kind of getting on the train that he just might deserve it. I get numbers aren't everything, but
Yeah,
like I said, that man has dug that team out of the depths. And don't get me wrong, having Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is awesome. That's very nice.
yeah,
But got to get the ball there. He's done that very effectively while not turning the ball over practically at all.
hmm
So I don't know. It's just
yeah. Well, he's in. I mean, like I said, you talk about what the award actually means, and hell, that guy is very valuable.
yeah.
he, I have less of a beef with him, and I know you brought up him, but I wanted to make that point about stats to silence the Lamar people because there's so many that feel that he
Oh
should
yeah.
get it, and
Absolutely.
yeah, I am all day picking Allen over him, and I would pick Burrow over him too. Um, but yeah, I haven't really put much thought into what I personally think. I pretty much look at it as what I think will happen. And that I think is going to be Josh Allen, and I hope it is, over Lamar. Because this Burrow stuff, this is all new too. Like, there was no talk
Yeah.
of him until like last week.
Well, it's
Like,
because nobody thought the Bengals were going to have a chance to get in the playoffs.
yeah,
So yeah,
no,
it basically
totally.
was a dead conversation, and
Yeah,
now
it
we
really
have it.
was.
Um,
But, and I
yeah,
read a whole article about it too, dude. Like, the amount of shit the Bengals have put him through and the Superman shit he had to do to get them these wins or try and get them these wins that they actually ended up losing because the team just screwed him. Like the list literally goes on and on. Like this team could literally have like 4 more wins than they do, and every loss was not his fault. Like, and he's done everything in his power to make them in these games when they had no right being in them. I mean, you look at all the comebacks and the all the comebacks, but then still falling just short. And
yep.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem if he wins it. And obviously LSU bias and all that too. Like I love Joe Burrow, so I'm not gonna be mad if he gets it. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. I just really hope it's not Lamar, personally.
I agree. I mean, Lamar had a great year. There's no denying that. But
Oh, it was a
is he the
phenomenal
MVP
year.
of the league this year? Absolutely not. Especially when you got Derrick Henry doing what he's doing on the same team. I mean, that
Exactly.
opened up so much for Lamar. And to your point about what MVP really means, there is the value Lamar is providing compared to the other quarterbacks because he also has an extremely productive Derrick Henry beside him. Just can't be Lamar
Right.
based on what the award really means. It just can't be it. Sorry.
Exactly.
Great
Even though
year.
his stats are better than his other 2 MVP years, like I don't want to hear it.
And like honestly, I hate comparing to old MVP years as well. Like especially when the sports are just ever changing all the
Good
time.
point. They're always
Like
evolving.
you're adding more passing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like
He's got to have
the
more
numbers are
yards.
up. Wow, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah,
I can't
it's
believe
true.
it. So it's like the 3-point stuff of the NBA. Game's changing, so cool. His numbers are better than the when he won the MVP, but it's a different year. League played different this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, like I sent, not to make this an NBA thing, but I sent you on Instagram the other day. Draymond Green has more career 3 pointers than Larry Bird.
Yeah. Okay. First off, that is wild, but jeez. Yeah. But, but yeah. So crazy stuff going on in the AFC. The MVP winner is going to be in the AFC for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
in
Yeah.
my opinion,
Unless Saquon just like, oh, there's like a 1% chance.
it's not
But
gonna
yeah,
happen.
it's not gonna happen. And especially now with him gonna rest and not get the record. Yeah, it's not going to
And
happen.
also,
But one
I'm
hell of a
not
year.
saying I'm not saying they should win it a lot for some of the same reasons I kind of said about Lamar, but they definitely should deserve to be in the conversation and shouldn't be overlooked. Both Darnold and Goffy Boy deserve to be in the conversation,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Not
they're
saying that
playing
they
out of
should
their
win,
minds.
but yeah, Goffey's
Especially
had some
Darnold. I
unbelievable
can't get over
games,
this
but yeah,
this Vikings team. Like, why are they so good?
it's
I
crazy.
don't know. I still don't have the answers, people.
And I'm so disappointed um, in the Packers. I normally hate the Packers, never want to see them win. That's just kind of how the NFC North is bred. If you're not a Packers fan, you don't like the Packers. FTP and all that, you know how it is. But man, even let me down in the one game I want them to win. Like,
Yeah.
beat the Vikings, allow us to have a Week 18 that we can rest our guys. But nope. What do we have? Battle for the 1 seed and home field advantage between two 14-win teams in the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, getting the Sunday night slot, by the way. But yeah, that's just insane.
Speaking
With that,
of, just two super mega freaking juggernauts in the same division. I saw a post bringing up the idea of what if the playoffs were seeded by record, and it literally doesn't matter that you're in the same or division as another really good team. And I'm wondering, do you like that at all, or is that just wild and just way too different?
it's hard, right? Like, I can't say that I have a problem with it. It would just be one of those things that's kind of like changing the norms. And, humans are reversed to change.
Yeah.
So I think it would just feel weird. But in concept, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think you might have to consider... The only thing that's weird is that they do it like that, right? Since you play those teams twice every year. So you have more games to decide, okay, who's the best team to come out of these 4 teams in a better spot. So, but does that really matter in the grand scheme of things when you are still playing 12 other games? So, I can't say that I necessarily have a problem with it. Can't say that I particularly like it either.
Yeah.
But, maybe try it out. Sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It just would feel weird. But,
Yeah.
I definitely still want the schedule to be structured the same. Like, I want there to be divisions where you play teams twice, and there's that rivalry and hatred and all that good stuff. But yeah, where they end up when it's all said and done, I mean, that wouldn't bug me at all. And in your case of being a part of the NFC North and being one of these super teams in the Lions, if you lose next week, you're the 2 seed still. Like, you're not the 5. Like, you still get a home game. Like, you still get another home game after that one. Like, I don't know. Like, part of it feels right to me because of that. Like, I mean, you played your ass off. You had an amazing season, and then it could end in you being the 5 seed. And that goes for the Vikings or the Lions, and it's going to happen to one of you.
Yep.
And that's crazy to me. Like, you were so dominant, did everything, one of the best teams in the league, and you're a 5 seed.
Yep. I mean, kind of crazy. If it did go that way, the NFC North could have 3 of the top 4 spots in the NFC.
Yeah, that's true.
That's nuts. The NFC North, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Who would have thought? The Vikings, Lions, Packers all running the NFL, and then the Lions and the Vikings being the definitively better teams out of the 3 there. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Vikings were the bottom of the NFC North to start the year, in my opinion. And
I agree. They're certainly not that. They are the class of the NFL.
Yeah. Wow.
But with that, let's run through the NFC quick. Like, 1 seed we just talked through. It's going to be the Lions or the Vikings. The loser of that game will end up as the 5 seed. Very unfortunate for them. Won't even get a home game.
Yeah.
And you got the 2 seed, the locked in Philadelphia Eagles. They're going nowhere. 3.
What? Nowhere.
Rams or Buccaneers. And then 4, same 2 plus the Falcons. All the teams in the NFC are set except for the winner of the NFC South. Buccaneers and Falcons with a lot to play for this upcoming weekend. Those are going to be some high-strung games, I think. I think right now I'd have to say I think the Buccaneers are going to take that final spot, but who knows? We'll see. It's going to be exciting. I like the unknown because, like I said, everything else is set. Talked about the 5 seed, and then the 6 and 7 is going to be the Commanders and Packers, depending on how their games this week turn out. One of them will take the 6 and the other the 7. They are
Which that's crazy too. Because either one is going to have a really good record for being a freaking 7 seed.
Yep. It's
crazy.
I mean, if they both win, they're going to the worst team in the NFC is going to have, I guess, depending on how the NFC South comes out, that division winner could actually be the worst team in the entire NFC playoff picture, which is wild. But if it plays out right, the NFC's worst team in the playoffs could have 11 wins. 7 teams in one conference with 11 wins is nutty.
Yeah. I mean, and then you have a 5 seed with, what, 13?
14.
Or 14, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Both teams are going into this game 14-2, sir. That is insanity.
I'm so thankful for that game because, as we mentioned, there's going to be a lot of games with, resting starters and whatever, teams trying to lose, like just a bunch of gross shit. And then we're going to have, like, what should be the Super Bowl, honestly.
No, I mean, it's a great way to round out the regular season. You really can't ask for anything.
Oh, I'm so hype. Yeah. And that is a night game, too, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the Sunday night slot.
Yeah.
So there is no other game that is worthy of that. And not even close.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. They got to make us wait, though, of course. Sunday night.
Yeah.
Feels eternity away.
And with that, let's do our game picks for the final week of the season.
Oh, I need a miracle, baby.
Into those picks. Let's recap what happened in the 2 weeks that we were out. Right? So week 16, coming into that, I was up 3. Chris bested me there by 1. So I'm up 2 coming into this past weekend. What do? Go out there, have a bit of a master class, 14 out of 16, go up 2, and I'm coming into this last week 4 picks up on Chris.
I like
he
2
is
better.
In a tough spot.
Well, and I screwed myself last week, too, with one of them. Because you already gained 1 on me, and I tried to make it up with some craziness, and it bit me in the ass. So now I'm down 4. Need a miracle. I'm hoping I could just make my picks here, and we have 4 different, but I don't think I'm going to be lucky that I'm going to have to make some switcheroos.
You were consistently closing the gap, so I'm very happy to see that I built up a bit of a buffer for myself for this last week, because it really could get crazy. Like we said, there's teams might sit people, teams might pull people, and we don't know when. Teams want to lose. Well, do their players also want to lose? Giants last week, perfect example.
Right.
Lock with basically a fuck you game to the Giants.
Yeah, I love it, dude.
Balling out. No,
are you kidding me? As an
Giants
Eagles fan, I freaking love it. Although they're still bottom of the freaking NFC. And yeah, I mean, they're still going to have a good draft pick, but I mean, I think they still might even be 1, right?
No, they're not.
They're not? Okay, good.
I think they're 3 or 4, so it wasn't terrible, but it's not the 1 anymore.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Even if they don't want to draft 1, that's a lot of trade power.
That makes me forgive Drew Lock for beating the shit out of the Eagles last year. He had that game, that exact game against the Eagles last year, and boy did that sting.
I liked watching it. I'll remember it for a while. It was really good.
Nah, it's forgettable.
Kind of like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Eagles playoff game last year. That one's good too. I'm hoping for a repeat maybe this year. That'd be kind of cool. Different team though, same disappointment. But yeah, let's keep going. Past 2 weeks I was at 24 out of 32. Chris was 23 out of 32. So overall +1 for me over the past 2 weeks. I am at 173 out of 256 on the year. Chris 169 out of 256.
Nice.
I'm just short of 68%. Chris at a solid 66. So I've been inching up closer. Both of us inching up closer to that 70% mark. I think maybe that's where I'd like to be as a benchmark. So falling just a bit short, but I got the room to move up a bit more this week, and then next year we're hitting it. No doubt about it.
Yes. No doubt.
Last thing before we make the picks, ESPN comparison as always. I picked up a bit of ground. I'm ahead of 4, behind 7, and I have an opportunity to jump a few here in this last week as well. Chris in a bit of a tougher spot, ahead of 2, behind 9, with really no room unless a crazy week by himself and a tough week from the people ahead of him to get ahead of most there, maybe 1 or 2 at most, and only ahead by 1 or 2 as well. So let's have a good week, my guy. Let's beat some ESPN experts.
I'm not going to have a good week.
Confidence. Come on. With that, let's make our first pick. Browns-Ravens. What do you got, sir?
I went Ravens.
Yeah, I also went Ravens.
Yeah.
The Ravens want to win the division.
Yeah.
And the Browns
They're playing.
want to lose.
Yeah, that was like one of the few very easy ones this week.
Oh, yes. 100%. Up next, the other AFC North game. Both on Saturday. We will know how the AFC North plays out by the end of Saturday night. Bengals-Steelers. I went Bengals here.
Yeah. Gotta roll with the magic, man.
Yeah. I think they're going to win and put the pressure on the Broncos and the Dolphins to win. They obviously won't know anything more other than do they have a chance, but I think they're going to go out there and win the way their offense is playing right now, and TJ Watt being banged up a little bit for the Steelers, I believe, if I remember correctly. Even without, honestly, I just don't see, even with the shitty Bengals defense and the way the Bengals are playing as a team right now, I think they edge out the Steelers there.
Yeah, I mean, you got one team going like this, and then you got another team going like this. So, yeah.
That's a simple way to put it, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I guess you went Bengals there as well, just to confirm.
I did. Yes.
Okay. Panthers-Falcons then. NFC South. I got Falcons here. I think they also are going to go out and win this game. And a little foreshadowing, I guess. I think they're going to be disappointed when they go and win this game and still don't get into the playoffs. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree exactly. I think they're going to win, and I think they're still not going to get in.
Yep. And I'm very curious to see how that Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix saga plays out. I think they'll cut Kirk, but that's
they got to.
A weird year for them. Been a weird year for them. Probably for the best they don't make it and reset, to be honest with you. Just saying. Bears-Packers up next. I gotta go Packers here. Packers still have a chance to move up to a 6 rather than be the 7 and play either the Rams or the Buccaneers instead of the Eagles. I'm gonna say they're probably inclined to try to avoid playing the Eagles in round 1 if possible.
Yeah.
Compared
Thank
to the
you.
other two teams. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Flowers. I want them. Yeah, I agree. I think the Packers, they got something to play for. Bears literally cannot beat this team. We know this. It's impossible. It doesn't matter. Khalil Mack can have, 3 forced turnovers, and Aaron Rodgers will just, win the game anyway, and 10 other examples, including the field goal this year that got freaking blocked or whatever. That was one of the Bears' many close but no cigar moments. But yeah, I have the Packers.
All right, we are through 5 games and no differences so far, sir. You might have to get a little creative.
I'm gonna. I feel like,
Titans. This one, I'm curious. Who'd you go here? Who'd you go here? Texans, Titans.
I went Texans because what I alluded to earlier. I heard that D'Amico is going to play starters, and I feel like the Titans should want to lose. And like we said, do the players feel that way? Probably not. But I just feel like it's in the air. It's enough to affect performance. So, yeah, I'm going Texans.
Well, I really went back and forth on this one. This one was really difficult for me. Maybe the most difficult, to be honest, for me personally this week. And you got your first difference.
Wonderful.
I ended up going with the Titans here. You got one.
I'd rather it
Got
not
one.
be that one, but that's fine. You know what? I just realized I might do more than four different. Because I can't just bank on a perfect week, bro.
Well, then what happens when, like, the four that you had were right and the two you added on are wrong, and then it just doesn't matter anymore because you only moved ahead two now?
Enough of your mind games. I got enough stress going on right now.
Fair enough, fair enough. Jags Colts. Jags Colts. I got Colts. I
Yeah,
mean,
me too.
Jags look depressing. I think they want to lose. Colts, they're stuck in the middle of the draft order, so
Bye,
I don't think it
Dougie
really
P.
matters. Yeah, Dougie P is done.
Bye.
Dougie P is done. Um, Bills Pats. This was another interesting one for me. Um, I ended up going Patriots here. I think Drake May is going to want to go out and win. Like I said, Josh Allen is not going to play this whole game. So I'm kind of banking on him not playing a lot of this game.
Hmm.
Because if he does, yeah, I think the Bills are going to win. But I'm siding with they're going to decide to give him at least 3 quarters of rest.
Yeah. I went back and forth a lot on this one, partially because, like you said, we're unsure with Josh Allen and the rest of the Bills starters. That being said, I went Pats as well. I feel like this is one of the few teams that are garbage record wise, but are definitely trying to win games.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
would
I think
agree.
they're going to try, and they'll probably succeed if they're going up against backups.
Yeah. Giants Eagles. Interesting one.
Yeah.
You tell me who you picked here. I'm assuming Eagles, but I am kind of curious if you tried to play some Jedi mind tricks here.
It will be revealed momentarily.
Yeah?
no, no. I ended up going Eagles because I didn't want to pick the Giants, but you know, that's literally my reasoning because Eagles are playing backups. Giants want to lose. Eagles are a deep team. I feel like our backups are gonna be good enough that we could win this game. So I just kind of went with them. But yeah, we shouldn't. We probably shouldn't win this game, and I definitely wouldn't be shocked if we lose. But yeah, it was just tough for me to pick the Giants in a year where we're so much better than them, even though we're not playing our guys. I don't know. It's just weird Eagles love stuff. Don't even listen to me anymore.
Yeah, this one was another tough one for me. Definitely went back and forth quite a bit given the situation. Because I think even though the Giants want to lose, I mean, the players could totally just do what they did last week and say
Right.
screw it and go all out. To be honest, I ended up going Eagles here. And I ended up going Eagles here to try and protect myself from a difference. Because I thought you might try to pull some tomfoolery here, possibly.
Yeah. Well, hey, I
So,
still might if we don't get any more
yeah.
freaking differences.
Yeah, that's okay. The games that are coming up, there are some that I'm pretty all right with not having you have to switch in those games. So we'll see.
We will.
Saints Bucks up next. I got the Buccaneers here. I alluded to it earlier. I think the Buccaneers can win this game and take the NFC South.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's too much to play for, and they're a much better team. That being said, I think there's a chance we get Carr back and Kamara back. But yeah, I still just Bucks are better. They have a lot to play for here. So yeah, I went with them.
I don't know why the Saints would do that though.
It makes
Why
no
bring
sense
them
to me.
back for a
I feel like
meaningless
Kamara
game?
has incentive or something because he's at like 950 rushing yards or something. So I feel like he gets another
Speaking of,
half a mil if he gets over 1,000 or something.
you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
Something crazy. I saw something the other day. You know, Alvin Kamara has never run for 1,000 yards this season.
I believe it. All-purpose
That's
yards he has like every
yeah.
year probably.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But never 1,000 yards rushing. That was
Yeah.
kind of crazy to see for me.
That
Not
it's
one
crazy,
run.
but like I would have guessed he had, but it's
Yeah,
not surprising because the guy is literally a receiver half the time.
he is. He is. You're not wrong. Anyways, let's go to the next one. This was an interesting one given the situation as well. Chiefs Broncos. And I'll say I ended up going with the Broncos here. I think they've got a lot to play for at home in front of their own fans, playing what will be a very weak Chiefs team. And this is a team, and here's really, I honestly feel quite confident in this. The Chiefs, regardless of their record, they are finding ways to win games, yes. They're not looking that impressive, and they are pulling out these games because of the players that are sitting. Because those are the players that find a way to win, right? The Kelsey Mahomes connections, etc. Chris Jones coming up clutch on the defensive line. So take those guys away. Do they have the formula to go win those close games? I don't think so. So
they have Carson Wentz, my guy. A top 10 quarterback in the league just chilling on a bench, bro. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, better be. There's crazy talk. We might have to stop this.
It is. Dude, I saw... Yeah, I'm not worthy of talking of sports with that take.
Yeah.
But I saw a post and it said Carson Wentz will be the next Sam Darnold next year.
Oh,
and it makes no sense. The man is like 6 years older than Darnold. He's washed. He's had major injuries. Like, it's just like...
He's a backup.
There's no... He's barely a backup. Like,
Yeah.
that was just a ridiculous post. But yeah, I had to bring that up. But yeah, I went Broncos too. I mean, this team should have beat the Chiefs in Kansas City against the Chiefs starters. And, I mean... We already discussed it. I mean, they have so much to play for here. If they win, they're in. Like, just win the game.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and you're going up against backups at home. Like, there's no doubt they should win this game, and I think they will.
Cool. Let's go to the other AFC West matchup. Chargers-Raiders. I got the Chargers here. I think they're going to be playing their starters because they could be either 5 or 6.
Yep.
Raiders are just in an extremely sad state at this moment. They definitely don't want to win. Are not playing like they want to win either.
No.
So, I got
Yeah.
Chargers here.
Yeah, Chargers. Same reasons. No need to discuss that one any further.
Yeah. Seahawks-Rams. This was an interesting one. Rams are sitting Stafford. Bit of an interesting decision. We talked about this a bit. Rams could be the 3 or the 4 seed. So sitting Stafford is an interesting decision because if they win, they are the 3 and avoid a matchup with either the Lions or the Vikings.
Yeah.
In the first
It's pretty
round.
major.
I think they want to do that. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure I'm following the thinking here. But hey, I guess believe in your guys no matter the opponents. But given that, I got the Seahawks here. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think
one-
the Seahawks take this.
Yeah, I went Seahawks too with, the Rams bench and some starters. But yeah, definitely don't agree with that decision. Why would you want to play Minnesota or Detroit? Like, no thank you. But
The only thing I can think of is if Stafford's the only one sitting, like he's actually banged up. And needs the week
we
off.
know Stafford's banged
Yeah,
up.
I mean,
He
he's
is
definitely
always banged up.
But like, you get the point of like actually hurt maybe, but not necessarily wanting to go on the injury report.
You can never tell with him.
Yeah. You can't.
He plays anyway. It doesn't matter.
Tough son of a gun, dude. Tough
Yeah.
son of a gun. Part of why I love the guy so much. But yeah, both got Seahawks there. We got 3 left. Up next, Dolphins Jets. I got the Dolphins in this one. I mean, it's maybe a goodbye game for Aaron Rodgers, which did give me some pause here. But the Dolphins just have a lot to play for, and the Jets have looked sorry for a long time.
Yeah.
So I went Dolphins here.
Yeah, I went Dolphins. This one does scare me a bit. I feel like the Jets could totally just spoil this. Which, either way, if Denver wins, it won't matter. But those games are happening at the same time, I believe. So they won't know. But, yeah, I feel like the Dolphins, they just have a lot more to play for. This Rodgers beef with the Jets owner. Like, there's just so much drama going on there now, too. Tough to play through all that. So, yeah, I went Dolphins.
49ers Cards up next. I got the Cardinals here. 49ers, I don't think... Is Brock Purdy playing? I don't think he's playing, right? I think they're going to let him rest.
Actually, I
possibly.
don't know. I do not know on that one.
Either way, the 49ers got nothing to play for. Cardinals got pride to play for, really. I mean, I guess all these teams always have pride to play for. I shouldn't put it that way. But the Cardinals are a team that's, trying to turn around the ship.
Right.
They've been
They're
on an
yeah.
upward trajectory, and they want to see higher win totals. The 49ers, they're every other year NFC Championship, and we know that's just how it is. So,
Yeah,
the Cardinals
that's
want to win this one more.
yeah. Yeah, I went Cardinals too for those reasons. I mean, they're teams in different boats. Like the Niners should literally be contenders and they're ass this year for
Yep.
a number of reasons. But yeah, like you said it, Cardinals are just looking for improvement basically. And I mean, they have already gotten that, but why not get a little more? And they are at home, which I love. I love that. Um, but yeah, Cardinals.
You're telling me, man. The amount of times I've heard that this year, goddamn. Vikings
Woo!
Lions, the Sunday night game, the decider for the NFC North, the number one seed, home field advantage, the bye. So much is up for grabs in this one football game, and really cool to see it come down to the last game of the year. So much riding on it. And obviously, I gotta ride with my boys, the Lions, here. I have to. I could not live with myself if I didn't. So, got the Lions, and I believe they're gonna win anyways. I truly do.
I went Vikings because I knew it.
I knew
We
you were
would need
gonna
it.
have to. I knew you were
Yeah,
gonna have to.
yeah.
So I was
I knew
waiting
that
for
was
it.
one difference that actually made sense because they could win this game. Um,
100%.
but yeah, so I went Vikings for that reason, knowing I need to make up ground. Um, yeah, obviously, great game could go either way. Two great teams. Lions are at home. Still going skull, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's time for some craziness. I gotta mix some of these up, man. I
Yeah,
gotta
'cause
switch them up.
we got two differences
We
through
have
our
two.
normal picks.
We have two. I think I'm gonna get to at least five different. All said and done. So
Oh
for
man,
starters,
dicey.
I'm taking the Niners now instead of the Cardinals.
Okay, fair enough. I thought that might be one you switched.
Yeah.
I think I know another
And
one you'll switch. Maybe even I might know the other two you're gonna switch.
yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward for me. I'm gonna switch Panthers Falcons. I'm taking the Panthers. I am also.
I am intrigued. That was not one on my list. So
Really?
yeah.
Dude, Panthers, they've had their games where they look really good going up against a rookie quarterback. I mean, things happen. Will only be Penix's, like third game?
Yeah, I guess I just felt like there were better options. I don't know. I'll get into it after you tell me what
Yeah,
your changes are.
that's fair. I'll tell you once I figure them out, brother. So
There's a
that's
lot riding
three.
on this.
I know. That's why I'm trying not to rush because I did make marks on ones that I would think about switching.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Okay, I
Man.
think I'm gonna switch. Oh, also, before I forget, I did make a note on this too. We missed a game, Commanders Cowboys.
Oh yeah, I did totally skip that.
uh, I take it you went Commanders.
I did go Commanders.
Okay, I
Yeah.
did as well. Cowboys suck. Let's move on. Uh, so I'm also gonna switch up. I'm gonna switch up Bengals Steelers. I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Okay.
Just trust, they right the ship because, like I said, one team's going up, one's going down. But they got a lot to play for. I mean, they're banking on the Browns beating the Ravens, so yeah. But they're definitely going to try and win, and they have a good team. So I'm hoping they can switch that one up for me. Ba, 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 ba. I am also going to switch. I'm going to switch Colts Jags.
Okay, that one was on my list. Yeah, that one was on my list. Figured that one would be.
Okay. Yeah, that one was happening. Basically, my system was I did dots next to
Yeah.
ones that I would consider switching, and 1 dot meant switch it. 2 dots was like if you have to kind of thing, and so
By the
on.
way, if you do overcome this deficit, I think it's the biggest 1 week swing we've had all year. I
It
think our
would be,
biggest was
yeah.
3.
Or it might have
I
been
think
4 week 1 because I think you got out right
maybe.
away with a lead.
I don't know.
Like I think if we
I'll
took
reference.
that would be interesting. Do you mind digging while I
I
figure
am.
this out?
Don't you worry.
That would be dope. Because if we literally were
Fans know.
the same after week 1, that would be pretty cool.
Now, week 1, I only beat you by 1.
Maybe it's week 2.
2 was 3.
Okay.
So I think 3 is our previous high in difference. So you'd be setting a new record here. Oh my gosh, just looking through. Guys, a recap for you all. Week 5 was horrible for both of us. 6 correct and 5 correct, respectively.
Oh
That is
man.
a horrible week. Oh man.
Okay, so I
Come
already
on,
have.
what do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more because I think it might help me. It may just bury me further, but I'm gonna switch Eagles Giants even though I hate it.
I
Um,
love that you had to do that. And if you get that one, end up getting that one wrong, I'm really gonna love that.
oh, I'll be upset. I was upset after week 1. I picked the Packers over the Eagles. If you recall,
Yeah.
that broke my heart. Like that, and that would be the only time where I picked them to lose and they actually won for the whole
Yeah.
season. Because I honestly think I picked them every other week. But I mean,
Yeah,
can you
definitely
blame
did.
me? Can you blame me? We're fired.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't play the Lions, so I understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did it too with the Lions. When your team's fire, how could you pick against them? It's like brutal. It's so tough.
It is.
And we're just, we're grateful that our teams are super gas fire. You know.
Yeah. What's the last
Um,
one?
Last one, sorry. Last one. I'll do I'll do Jets Dolphins.
Interesting. The Aaron going away game, possibly going away game. I don't want to jump to conclusions here. That's a
So
fair
that'll
shot.
get us to 6 different folks. And real quick, I'll recap them. Panthers Falcons. I'm going Panthers now. Titans Texans, which that one just happened naturally. I went Texans, you went Titans. Colts Jags, I did switch that one. I am now going for the Jags. Giants Eagles, I'm now going for the Giants. Gross, ew, gross. Jets Dolphins, I am now going Jets. And then Lions Vikings, I originally went Vikings. So that will be the 6 different. Please
Crazy.
put down in the comments some luck for Chris. Come on. Come on.
You
Gas
need it.
me
You
up.
need it.
We gotta manifest this shit. This shit ain't easy.
Oh man, dude, if you so the one game you switched, Bengals Steelers. If the Bengals do end
Oh
up
yes,
winning
I
that
forgot to
one,
mention that one.
yeah, like
Wait, so do I have 7 now? 2, 4, 6. Yeah, there is 7 now.
wow,
That's
Okay.
a lot.
that's a lot.
I feel like I'm digging a hole here.
Let's just say, for the purposes of this episode, Chris might make some more changes. We'll get back with you next week.
No,
when
no,
we'll
no.
Really
No,
got some
I'm
better-
clamping in, baby.
clamping in. Okay.
Actually, I might. Who knows? But we will let you
Leave the
know
door
if I
open.
do.
Yeah,
We'll let
leave
you
the
know
door
if I
open
do.
for it. But with that, we wrap up yet another super exciting Palm City Chucks episode. We got the last week of our competition this weekend, guys. The
Yeah.
winner gets a trip to a game to their favorite NFL team next season. High stakes, super fun. College football playoffs are heating up, down to 4 teams. Go Penn State. James Franklin, don't screw up, prove me wrong, and then I'll love you forever. I will get on my knees and apologize. I said that earlier. I'm saying it again.
He's
It
dying to
won't
go on
happen.
his knees, folks. It's great.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm always ready. This guy. I don't even know what to say to that. But all right, we're done. See you guys
Later,
next week.
PCC!